Hello, welcome back. I'm Sam and this is SC Classics. Hello, welcome back. Good to see you again. You can see we've still got the Sebring Red Mark 1 behind us. Finally started getting some parts, so it's time to get cracking and start putting some things back together, replacing some bushes, etc. and getting on with this car. Try and get it back to the... What's going on with that? Try and get it back to the customer ASAP. A quick recap on what we're doing with this Mark 1 RS2000 if you didn't see the last video. So you'll notice it's got no engine, no gearbox, no cross member. That's because it's all removed, because this is the engine out of it. As you can see, it has some serious oil leaks. One from the head gasket, leaking from this side, the sump gasket. There's another leak from this side, which you can't see. Possibly front casings as well. So the owners asked me to remove the cylinder head, to fix all the oil leaks, put it back together. He also said, while the cylinder head is off, can we send it away to have hardened valve seats fitted, because they've never been done. So as we speak, the cylinder head is away at the machine shop, hoping to get that back this week. So also as well, while the engine was out, the customer said, can we paint the engine block and make it look like new? So I've still got to strip this one down. Obviously strip it down a lot further, a lot of cleaning up. Something's got to come off anyway to be resealed. Crank oil seal, front seal. You know, I'm going to replace all the seals, make sure we've got a full gasket kit for the engine anyway, so while we've got them, we might as well do them and make it look pretty. Now, he doesn't want to go full concourse build because the car isn't. It's a nice original car. He doesn't want to go wild on it, but he just wants to make it look a bit pretty while we've got the opportunity. So that's exactly what we want to do. It needs a pair of engine rubbers. Well, I'll show you the parts that we've got for it that can get them replaced. To give you an idea of what the engine block will look like. So that's how it looks now. This is one I'm building for another customer. Give you an idea. It cleans up quite well. I use V8T, heat-proof satin black. I always spray it on. I don't like hand painting engine blocks. I'm yet to do the cylinder head. And you may think it's an odd way of doing it, bolt the cylinder head on and then paint it. But the reason being, that's how Ford did it. So when you look at these casings, these are original casings. You notice there's black overspray on it. And that's because they'd never paint a gasket surface and then fit a part, i.e. the water pump, you know, the auxiliary drive cover, any of that. They'd never fit them parts to a painted surface. So they always fit the parts first and then paint it. Hence why black overspray on here. If you find an original inlet manifold, you'll find it's got black overspray on the edges because it would have been bolted to the head and the cylinder head would have been painted. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I always paint the blocks while it's stripped down. Just nice and easy to do. But then I'll build it up to, you know, everything on the, even the thermostat housing on the cam belt, pulleys, everything, and then paint the top end. But anyway, that's that engine. That's not the RS2000 engine. That's actually for a 2 litre Mark 3 Cortina that'll be coming in the future. He's asked me to build the engine for it. And anyway, I'll get into that in the future. So what are we up to? Oh, show you what I've got. As I said, parts will start coming in now, so we can start moving forward. Got some new head bolts, full gasket kit. I've already took the valve stem oil seals out of that. They've gone to the machine shop to be fitted. New trap rod end, new 50mm engine mounts because the old ones are perished. New courtesy light switches for the A-posts because the ones are absolutely knackered. The rubber for the rear view mirror that goes against the windscreen, also knackered. Some new core plugs. Now it does only need 2 of these because it looks to have had 2 replaced, but just bought a full set, replaced a lot at once. Spray bar because the old one is actually, as you can see, bottom bracket and the centre mount is snapped. So new spray bar, some Superflex poly bushes for the shackles, and leaf spring polys. Now these are not Black Series. As soon as I pulled these out of the box this morning, I rang Burton straight away. Not kicking off, but you know, a little bit unhappy that I'd got full race bushes for a Mark 1 RS2000 road car. And what I ordered was the Heritage series, which are a bit softer, grey coloured to look a bit more authentic. And what turned up was these boxes. So I rung them up and they told me to open the box and check the colour. Was they grey or black? Was they dark grey or black? So I said dark grey, and he said, yep, they're the Heritage. They're the correct ones, they're the ones you ordered. So thankfully we got the right bushes. So now I've got a good bit to go at. I've already replaced the tramp bar bushes. As you can see, the tramp bars aren't in the axle end, and the reason being that when I remove them, when I remove the tramp bar, it just come off nice and easy. Now that I'm trying to put it back in with new bushes, it doesn't want to line up, and the reason being you're supposed to compress the axle, compress the springs, and then the bolt will go in. Now, I didn't actually have to do that, removing it, because the bushes were that worn. It didn't need doing, but anyway, they're done. I need to do front leaf spring, rear leaf spring, and shackle bushes. And that should be it for the bushes on the back end, thankfully. But we'll get into it anyway and start stripping it down. Quite easy. Shackle nut there, another one which is inside the car. Oh, bugger, I've just realised something. I might be able to get it from this side. Fuel tank's here. There's a rubber grommet there, and you normally go through under the tank. I'll have to try and get it from this side without moving the tank. Forgot about that. This one's not too bad, it'll just be a case of spur wheel out, pull the grommet out and get that nut from inside. And then your 4 shackle U-bolts and your front bolt. Nice and easy. Obviously you've got a transmission stand out ready to suspend the axle, because it's naturally going to want to drop off. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing now. I think I'm going to crack on getting these bushes done, get this job out of the way, and then it's going to be, I think I'll probably concentrate on the engine, start stripping all the bottom end down, ready to repaint it and fit what I can, and then as soon as the cylinder head comes back, I can reassemble it and it can all go back in the car. So I'm going to make an attempt on the driver's side, which is probably going to be the most difficult with this bolt here, but we'll see what we can do. I've also got the GoPro set up for once. So yeah, let's crack on. First job, let's get some oil on these, because they look a bit dry. We get a bit of penetrating oil. I've got the transmission stand under the axle, take a bit of weight off it, and then we'll get this first one ripped out of the way. That's the first leaf spring removed, driver's side. Sadly, it has highlighted a problem. That bush doesn't look too bad, but we're going to replace it anyway. It's a bit soft. This bush is completely knackered, separating, but it's also highlighted an issue. The shackle is seized in the bush. Certainly won't help with the suspension. He was complaining of knocking. Now, if that's not moving freely, then yeah, it'll certainly make a bit of a racket. I'm hoping I can free that off, but we'll see. For the time being, I'm going to get some oil and scrape all this rust out of this joint, a little pick, and get some oil down there, and hopefully we can get it released. Fingers crossed. I'd like to get this job done tonight, and obviously this will hinder our progress. So try and release this, get some oil down it, see what we can do. I think what I'm actually going to do to get this out, as you can see just how much movement is in that bush. It's completely knackered. I'm probably going to cut this front face off with a Stanley knife, just so I can get the bush out of the leaf spring and get as much rubber off it as I can, and maybe heat the sleeve up, see if we can get it to release. Yeah, worst case scenario, I have to get a slitting disc and cut a slit into the sleeve and try and open it up a bit, get some oil in there, try and save the shackle, because I haven't got another one of them in stock, and it is currently 8:15 at night, so I don't think anyone's open to get one right now. So yeah, that's it. Cut this front face off, get the bush out of this leaf spring, and try and tackle it out of the leaf spring. It might be a bit easier. Managed to get the bush out and off the sleeve. You can see the sleeve is still stuck good, so we're going to have to give it some heat therapy, see if that'll get it shifted. If not, the job is on hold until I can get a shackle, which is hopefully tomorrow. Well, there we have it. Put up a good fight, even got me breathing heavy, but yeah, I win. Thankfully, it's not even pitted or anything on the shaft, so a little bit of emery cloth on that, bit of copper grease. Clean these threads up on the end, and she'll live another day. Just pop the shackle bushes out. You can see they're really soft and old. They're original now. I can't see any numbers on them, but very, very soft. So the shackles will be moving around. Same again. Next job is going to be get this bigger bush out the front, which is probably going to be a job for the press. So I'm going to set the press up, and fingers crossed this presses out all right. Hope so. Thankfully the new bushes are two-piece bushes, so it should go together nice and easy. Stainless steel inserts, even some assembly lube. If you're going to put poly bushes in, I recommend going for, I'm not saying use this brand, but definitely use a more expensive brand, because the cheap ones tend to be an absolute nightmare to fit, and you'll probably be changing them again in about 6 months time because they're too brittle and crack. And I'm not naming any companies, but yeah, there's a few cheap ones out there, and they just don't last. So always go for a more expensive brand. You pay a little bit more, but they last a lot longer and they're much easier to fit. So it's worth every penny. That's both bushes removed now, thankfully. Pressed out without too many difficulties. It's just a case of trying to set up some sort of tools and trying to do it all one-handed. It's times like this I wish I had a second set of hands here, but it's not very often. So with them all out the way now, I can now push in the new polys, clean up the shaft on this, clean up the shaft on the body shackle because that's quite grotty, and start reassembling. So we've got our, not pushing that all the way through, got our poly shackle bushes in, got the shaft on the shackle itself cleaned up, got the shaft on this shackle cleaned up, poly bushes in, all moving free now. So that's it, time to refit this leaf spring. A bit of a pain cleaning things up. I had to file the shackle because it was, well, this shackle because it was quite heavily pitted, but it's all right now, plenty of grease on it, all should be moving good. So time to reassemble. Just get the leaf spring on, you know, bolted at the front, bolted at the back, and then I can lower the axle onto it, get the base plate and U-bolts and everything tightened up. I got this tramp bar bolted in as well at the same time while the axle's up in the air. So yeah, anyway, let's get on with it, stop talking. So that's the leaf spring back on the car. I've not tightened the front up yet. Just nip this up, see if it tightens up, and yes, closed up lovely. If you remember from before, there was quite a gap down either side, kind of like this one. Look at that for a gap. That's never going to work. You can actually move the spring around. So yeah, let's tighten it up. It should be a lot firmer. Next is drop the axle down. In fact, I'll try and put the tramp bar mount back in the top, then drop the axle down, line it up, tighten the U-bolt, and that is that side finished, apart from torquing the front bolts up. And I'll back these ones off and torque these when the car's sat on its wheels on the floor, just so it doesn't pinch up on the new bushes. What else? Yep, that's onto this now. Let's get this tramp bar in. Should go in pretty easy now. I was filming with the GoPro as well, but for whatever reason, the GoPro decided to switch off. I don't know how much footage it actually filmed, but it switched itself off, and I'm not sure why. As you can see, it's now the next day. passenger leaf spring removed, and guess what? C shackle. So I'm gonna have to try and same again. Bush is knackered. Get the leaf spring bush out of the leaf spring and then extract the sleeve off the shackle. The joys. Never mind. There we go, both. As you can see, they're still loose. All the leaf spring polys are done now. The anti-tramp bars are done. The bolts are back in. As you can see, they're loose. Left them all loose, and the reason being, I will torque them up when the car's got some weight on it, so it doesn't pinch the bolts up. I have torqued the U-bolts. They're torqued up to 27 pound-foot, as the Haynes manual says so. So for the time being, that is all I can do until we can put it back on its wheels. Next up, I think I'm going to start pulling the engine apart because I need to paint the block. So as I said, pulling this engine apart, pulling everything off it so we can paint the block, make it pretty, make it nice. So while it's apart, it just makes sense to have these alley bits vapor blasted, and it just so happens I've got some spurs. The only thing I haven't got a spur of is the alternator bracket, so I've still got to whip that off. But I've got a spur, front cover, auxiliary cover, that's his inlet manifold. This is actually the inlet manifold for the Cortina engine that I'm building as well. When I was referring back to the black overspray, you see on both of these there's black overspray. So even on this one, it's not as visible on some bits. You get underneath, you can see black overspray. Again, you can see where the pulley actually was on this one, 3. So this is the auxiliary drive, so the pulley probably would have been like that when the engine was painted, which confirms that these engines were painted as complete units. So they bolt all these on so there's clean gasket faces, and then you can see the black overspray on that, and then painted as a unit. So I will be doing exactly the same with this engine. I'm going to do the same with this. Again, you can see I haven't had the bottom cover blasted, but you can see the black overspray. I did have this vapor blasted. I'll be finishing the head off, building up most of the engine, and then throwing some more paint over it just so there's no bare metal faces. Same on the head, inlet manifold will be on. Paint the cylinder head with the inlet manifold on. All the belt, pulleys, etc. It'll all be built, all done. And I'll do the same with the RS2000 engine. So I'll get everything cleaned up, everything vapor blasted, reassembled to a certain extent, and then painted black. I won't be putting a sump on because I don't think they're painting them with the sumps on. I've never seen a sump with black overspray on it. That's just dirt. So I know the sump wasn't on, I know the alternator bracket wasn't on, the engine mounts weren't on. I'm not sure on the fuel pumps. Definitely no oil filter, engine mount. As you can see, one side of the dipstick is actually black, and that's probably where they just blasted from one side and didn't paint it. But I'll be doing the same again just so it looks original and authentic. But this one won't be getting painted. Well, I'll probably paint the block, but I'll then have to repaint, do more paint when the cylinder head comes back and I can fit that. Basically what I did with this one, painted the block first, cleaned it all up, painted it, fitted the head, and then once I've got the rest of this assembled as far as I need to, then I'll be painting the cylinder head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give these parts to my good friend at Cheshire Vapor Blasting, and he's going to work his magic and make them look like brand new. The reason I'm doing this, even though we didn't say so with the job with the RS2000, I just think it's a shame I've got the opportunity not to make it look, you know, a little bit better. So, and Cheshire Vapor Blasting is actually on my doorstep. It could not get any closer. So I'll walk out my front door. And it's that little door right there. So yeah, just makes sense. It's actually in the old GS Escorts building. If anyone ever comes to the witness GS Escorts, that's where Cheshire Vapor Blasting is situated now. So it makes sense why it's on my doorstep. These are all stripped down, ready to go. I also replaced the water fitting that snapped. thankfully I pulled one out of a VV inlet manifold. That's fitted, so that's repaired now. Get all them vapour blasted. I'm just going to whip the alternator bracket off, pop the bushes out of it, which is pretty straightforward. Toying with having the water pump blasted as well. Yeah, I think I will. I'm not going to do the fuel pump. The last thing I want to do is get blast media inside. The water pump's a bit easier to clean out. There's all diaphragms inside the fuel pump, so I won't risk that. Just have to clean that up by hand. I'm not going wild concourse, zinc plating and all that. He just wants it cleaned up, wants it looking presentable. While we're at this stage, it just makes sense. And thankfully, my mate is doing all these parts, vapour blasting, for a bit of advertising, so he's not actually charging me, so I'll lay that discount onto the customer, so he'll be happy. He's getting some work for free. What I will do is I will leave a link in the bio below, in the description below, of Cheshire Vapour Blasting's bio. You can get in touch with him on Facebook, Instagram, website. If you're in the Northwest and you need some vapour blasting doing, get in touch. Contact me if you want. He's a good mate of mine, so yeah, you do a cracking job. You know, he did these bits for me. I know these are steel, but these are for the Cortina engine. You just give these a once over, so I can prep and paint these. You know, these are quite crusty looking 40-50-year-old parts, and the steel, so we've got a bit of light rust already, so I'll just give them a quick scotch, etch prime, paint them black and then fit them. But yeah, what I'll do now is get the alternator bracket off and get these bits over to him, and I'll show you what we get back. There we go, water pump off. You can see it's reproduction, pretty new, but we'll just give it that little clean up anyway. It'll need a little spritz over. Original alternator bracket, H73AB, Mark 1 RS part number, HRS 73 year reduction, A Escort, B Britain. There you go. And then all our other goodies. So let's see what we get back. I think it's fair to say Cheshire Vapour Blasting done a top job. Sadly, this vehicle must have had a water leak or sat with water on it, so that one won't be getting used. It's a bit too far gone, which is a shame. It's cleaned up, but yeah, can't fit that to a Mark 1 RS2000. See just how pitted it is. Everything else, thankfully, has come out beautiful. So I think brand new. So yeah, like I say, if you need anything vapour blasting, if you're in the Cheshire Northwest area, get in touch with Cheshire Vapour Blasting and they'll sort it out. I'll leave the link in the description below. Big thanks to Cheshire Vapour Blasting. Okay, it's time to start pulling this Mark 1 RS Pinto apart. Quite simple, piston, rods, cranks staying in. It's going to be everything else off, just all the bolts on for the outside so I can clean the block up. Engine mounts, oil filter, fuel pump, front covers, sump. These two bolts, which no idea why they're actually in there, I've never seen them in before. Other engine mount, pop the core plugs out, pop this core plug out the back of the head, give it serious degrease, wire wheel, freshen up and paint. So it looks like this one. This one I've just put together. This is a rebuilt. This is had piston rings, mains, big ends, crank polish, new cam kit, new water pump, timing belt kit, lots of vapour blast, lots of paint. Didn't go too wild, just made it look fresh, made it look original. See? So we'll talk about with the overspray. Yes, it's sacrilege, but that's what Ford did, so that's what I'm doing. Different manifold on this being a Mark III Cortina. This should have a RS style manifold, but it actually hasn't. It's got a John Speed 4 branch, which is going to be a shame because that's going to let the engine bay down. It's quite rusty, but without having it ceramic coated, it will just flake off and look terrible. So let's make this engine look like this one. That's the block hole stripped down now, as far as it needs to be stripped. Bit of a degrease, nice and dry now, so we can start wire wheeling and cleaning all the faces up. And I'll probably, once it's painted, run a tap through all the threads, clean all the threads up just to make sure it's nice before we start reassembling. It stuck down nice. Only problem, as ever with a Pinto, was the tooth drive on the crank, which is always a pain. Thankfully, the past 3 engines I've done, I've actually got them off. I've had them where they just won't come off and I've ended up damaging the alloy cover on the bottom, but thankfully it wasn't the case this time. Bit of patience, and it paid off. So yeah, I'm going to get some wire wheels, mask this up first so I don't want anything going inside the block. Get some wire wheels and some surface prep tools and start cleaning all the faces up and get the bottom end painted. I'll do the same with this one. Mask the deck face up, mask all the face up on the front, you know, oil pump, oil filter and fuel pump, and paint the block black, demask it and then start assembling it. And then once the cylinder head goes on, I'll then paint the cylinder head in situ and paint all the bare metal on the front casings, which will get overspray on the nice vapor blasted parts, but that's how Ford did it, so that's how I'm doing it. There we go, looking much better. Can go frantic on it, demasked it, now needs another degrease. And then some paint. Thankfully this one looks like it was all original paint. It had been painted over and over. So wire wheels, various different wire wheels, different angles, different sizes, and a Dremel with some little tiny wire wheels on. I've got rid of most of the paint. I'm not concerned about taking everything off. I just want the loose paint off, not the loose rust. So now, like I say, another degrease, mask up all the faces that I want to keep bare metal, and get some paint on it. As you can see, I'm just masking up the block now. Already done some of the head gasket face, and to put it bluntly, this is how I do it. Gives you a nice clean edge. And most of you would have done this, seen this before. You know, it's not a new hack. Mask it up, rub along it so you can see the line. Dirty finger usually helps, but I've been wearing gloves. And then just tap along that. And here I've got everywhere. Use the ball for this side, this is a bit of a radius. Obviously don't beat the hell out of it. You need to tap it and it cuts it. Lovely. Trying to hit it skew width with my left hand and film at the same time. Yeah, you get the idea. That's what I do. Do the top cover, the head gasket face, the front gasket face. I'll do the fuel pump face and the oil filter face. And same thing, just tap along the edges. Gives you a nice clean cut. And then give it some paint. There we go, all masked up. Just bung the dizzy hole up and the oil breather hole up, and taped up the oil fitting because I don't want paint on the fitting, on the threads in the end of it, just in case it doesn't seal. I'll do it. Couple of coats of satin black, high temp satin black engine paint. Good stuff. Use this on all my engines and have really good results. I'm yet to see any of it flaking off any of the engines I've built, so I'd say that was a win. So I'm going to give it a couple of coats and I'll show you the results. Just like that, transformed. Much better. Nice, clean, satin black, heat-proof paint. Now I know a lot of people do paint these engine blocks blue, and I'm not a fan of a blue engine block. I don't know if Ford actually ever did a blue engine block. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they was all black. I'm happy with that. Thankfully I had just enough paint. I've just run out, so I'm going to have to order some more, because obviously once all water pump and stuff are on the front. These bare metal pieces need to be painted, and also the cylinder head needs to be painted. So I'll get some more paint ordered. Also, I need to ring the machine shop to see where the cylinder head is, because I still haven't got it back. I was hoping to have it back this week. Well, things moved along a little bit. I'm trying not to waste too much time with this one, because the owner specified that we just paint the block, so everything else I'm trying to do as fast as possible, hence the lack of filming. I'm just getting together new nuts and bolts where possible. If we haven't got them in stock, then I'm not buying them, simply because the customer doesn't want the bill racking up, which you understand. He just wants the block painting, but I personally can't put it back together with all old nuts and bolts. So if I've got new ones in stock, I'm fitting them where possible. But it's fair to say, it's looking better, much better than before. Engine mounts, I've got them vapour blasted as well. Even though the cast iron, you can still have them vapour blasted, etch primed, satin black. Breather, can't blast that because there's no way you're getting needed out of there. So I just quick sand down, etch prime, satin black, and yeah, it's coming together. I just want to, I need to get the sump vapour blasted because I didn't get that done yesterday. And that can go on. I can get the bottom end sealed up effectively then. And clean the dizzy up, get that in. Got the alternator bracket to go on, which is vapour blasted. Just need to put the new bushes in it, sort out some new nuts and bolts and stuff. Put it together. Engine mount to the correct orientation. So you look, that one, it's probably hard to see on the video, but the left, if you're looking behind the engine now, if the it's in the car effectively, the left is always the longer engine mount with an RS. Yeah, so that's where we're up to. I'm quite impressed with that. I've sent the owner a picture of the block before I put anything on it, and he's made up with it, so what more can you ask for? Sadly, we're not fitting a new fuel pump because there's nothing wrong with this other than it's a little bit grubby. I've cleaned it up the best I can. Can't really vapour blast it because of the diaphragm and stuff inside. I mean, possibly strip it down, but again, it's probably cheaper to buy a new one. And again, the customer doesn't want to buy new parts, so we have to work with what we've got. It looks presentable. By the time it's in the car and built up, it'll look nice. Still waiting on the cylinder head. A little bit gutted, I wanted that back. Thankfully, there's still other stuff I've been going on with while I'm waiting. I've misplaced the core plugs. I know where I had a set of core plugs for this. Can't find them. As soon as I do find them, well, if I don't find them, I'll have to order a new set. But you know for a fact, as soon as I order new ones, the right ones, the ones will turn up. Anyway, that's where we're up to. So I'll give you a quick update. It's looking good. Looking pretty. So that's a bit of a disappointing end to the week. I was hoping to have this engine for the Mark III Cortina completely finished and the cylinder head back for this one, so I can start reassembling this completely and get the engine back in the car early next week. Sadly, the cylinder head hasn't come back for the RS2000, so I can't continue with the reassembly. I am prepping and painting some bits, but ultimately I need the cylinder head back, which now being 4:05 Friday afternoon, I'm not going to see that till next week. Hold up on this one has been sort of my own fault. So oil pump arrived this morning, so that can go on. I've just painted the sump. That's all painted up now. Got the gasket, got everything, new sump plug, new oil pump, so that can go on. Need to clean up the pickup pipe, and then that can finish the bottom end off. And then it's stuff like fuel pump, breather, rocker cover, cam belt cover, water pump pulley, and fixed fan. Now, fixed fan and the pulley I don't really want to fit until the cam belt cover's on. The cam belt cover can't be fitted until the rocker cover's on. There lies the problem, because both these engines being early Pintos, it's blue rocker cover, blue cam belt cover, same on the RS2000, blue air filters. So there's this age-old debate, what's the correct colour? Now I always go with Ford Gentine blue. In my eyes, Ford would use a Ford colour. It's probably not the way, but it's what I stick with. And then a lot of people use Vauxhall Regatta blue because they say it's a better match. So against my own will, whatever, I went with Vauxhall Regatta blue. Now I didn't have a paint code, I just rung the paint shop that I always use and said I want Vauxhall Regatta Blue. It's an 80s, early 90s colour. Spot on. So he makes me up a 2-pack aerosol. As soon as I seen the tip on the aerosol, I thought, that looks a bit light. And he was adamant, when you spray it on, it'll be darker, blah, 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 blah. Okay, they're the professionals, I'll listen to what you say. And this is what I got. That's what I need, and that's what I got. Lovely paint job, looks great. Sadly, completely wrong colour. So now I'm not going to be able to get the right colour till Monday, possibly tomorrow, but I'm only in a short day, half day tomorrow. So it needs to be prepped again, painted in the proper blue. I don't know this has been painted, but you can see that's original. Yeah, never mind. You live and learn. Should have gone with me gut and stuck with Ford Gentine blue. I know Regatta blue is a very close colour to that, but I don't know whether that's a different shade of Regatta blue. I don't know. They've given me Opal 28D Regatta blue. I don't know. Anyway, not the end of the world, it's just a bit of a setback. It means this engine now won't be finished. Well, this engine, the Cortina engine, won't be finished till next week. Not the end of the world, but I would have liked it done this week. Yeah, I'll just carry on. I've got the bottom pulley vapour blasted, auxiliary pulley vapour blasted, top pulley and back plate vapour blasted, cups for the engine mount. In fact, they're all here. Cups for the engine mounts, thermostat housing, bottom pulley, should be a washer, could be behind the pulley somewhere. That's gone missing, don't know where it is. So yeah, cam pulley, auxiliary pulley, bottom pulley, water pump pulley, backing plate for the top pulley, 2 cups for the engine mounts and the thermostat housing. All vapour blasted, ready to go in etch primer, some black paint on them, and then they can all be fitted. So yeah, they're looking good. Thankfully the owner's been in and he's absolutely over the moon with this one, so that's good. Oh, we also had the sump vapour blasted for the MK1 RS2000. Another lovely job, brand new, can't beat it. What else? Oh, I had the alternator bracket done for the Mark III Cortina. So yeah, I'll get the oil pump on this one in the morning, get the pickup pipe, sump gasket on, and sadly I'll have to leave this one till Monday. And this one will be next week before I can finish this one. That's a worry. Well, there's a crappy end to the week. First of all, the wrong colour for the covers for this one. This is the Cortina engine, so we ended up with the wrong Regatta blue for the cam belt cover, rocker cover, so it couldn't fit them. I knew that was going to be early next week before I could get the paint and redo them. I thought, well, the sump's done, new sump plug, all blasted, painted, cleaned out, new sump plug, new oil pump, which is fitted. Always put the dowel in underneath to locate it. Always put your spring washers. You don't want them rattling loose. Make sure you put a gasket on there too. So, clean the pickup pipe, new oil pump on, started fitting the gasket, put the rubbers in either end, in the half moons, little rubber half moons. Gets the gasket out to fit it. Well, the gasket kit, bear in mind, I bought 2 gasket kits, bottom end gasket sets, one for this one for the RS2000 engine. Plan was this morning, I get the sump on this, I threw an old fuel pump on it just to block it up and get some oil in there. Just pop the rocker cover on until Monday when the right colour comes and I can repaint them and get that engine finished. Not too bad. This one I could get the sump on, and at least the bottom end was pretty much together. I've got all the pulleys and stuff blasted, I could get them painted, cylinder head will be here next week. And then I find this problem. 4 identical pieces of gasket. And this one looks like it's been double pressed, double punched, which isn't right. So I've got some eBay gasket sets, usually not a problem. Used them lots, never had an issue. And what I should have is, I'll show you. So this is this gasket piece. You get the impression. And then this gasket piece where the sump kicks out further, obviously should be a different piece. But no, they've sent me two of the same side. And I thought it's fine, I've got another gasket set, hopefully it's just a one-off. But now it turns out actually they've messed up on both gasket sets. So I've written a strongly worded message to the seller. I am miffed because I wanted this engine gone early next week. Once it's sealed up and gone, sadly, it's not to be. And I can't even put the sump on this one either because, well, same problem. So I'll have to clock off this one, cover it up again till next week. Hopefully the seller gets in touch and rectifies the problem. I hope he doesn't expect me to send the full gasket set back because I've already used a lot of it on the bottom end, as you can see. The last thing to go on was the sump, as with any engine. So yeah, I'm a little bit screwed on that one. I'll have to spin it over, cover it up, put it to one side, and I'll carry on with that next week. This one, I can now start painting up the pulleys and stuff for the bottom end. And again, I've got the pulleys, I've got the cups for the engine mount, so the engine mounts can go on, sump can't go on again. Yeah, it's left me a little bit screwed. I was hoping to have this engine a lot further along and this one finished. Sadly, it's not to be. I've just bolted some more painted bits to the engine. Obviously, put the bushes back in the alternator bracket, new hardware, painted the cups which have been blasted, put the new engine mounts on, core plugs are in, had the front pulley blasted and painted, same with the bottom pulley, the auxiliary drive, same again, mount and cover in the right place. Engine side now, not cross member side. Cam belt on, starting to look pretty neat. It's amazing what some new nuts and bolts and a coat of paint can do. Wouldn't think that was a 50-year-old engine. Sadly, that is where I'm going to have to end this video off. I have placed the sump on, like I said, I haven't got the sump gasket. I've placed it on just so it's in a safe place on the engine and it stops anything going, any dust or whatnot going in there to a certain extent. Quite fair to say that sump looks significantly better than when we took it off when it's covered in oil. I did splash out and get some new sump bolts. These were pennies and they're worth every penny because the old ones were a bit rusty in places, so I couldn't fit that. That sump with old rusty bolts. I'm sure the customer won't mind. I think it was about £3 or something. Probably not even that. I think I spent, what was it? I think it was like £16 with the VAT on M8 washers, M6 washers, M10 washers. They're for the rocker cover on both engines and the sump on the Cortina engine when I can finally fit it. So I just got 50 of them and some M8 nuts. That's everything. It's like £16 something, so you know, worth every penny. Makes it look pretty. And don't get me wrong, I won't use all these. These are for stock as well. It's always good to have them on the shelf. But yeah, both engines are looking well. Sadly, this one's looking worse. Sadly, this one's not looking as built as I'd like it to be. But you know, some things are just out of my hands. So hopefully next week get this one finished and this one finished and back in the car. Also, I need to get back on this one. Sadly, I've been distracted by these two engines this week. I need to get this car finished and there's still a lot of work to do and very little time to do it because this car has to be out by the end of this month. So there's going to be some serious long days, late nights, really grinding on this one to get it finished. I think next week, early next week, until some parts start coming in for these two, I'm going to crack on and get this wiring loom finished, because I did start filming the wiring for this one and it got put on hold. I was waiting for some parts to come in, and then I cracked on with the engines. But now all the parts are in, or most of them, I can crack on with this and really push. So next week, big push to get all the wiring finished, all the fuel system back in it. Hopefully early next week the new engine cross member and mounts will be here, so I can get the engine in, and then I can start doing the exhaust as well, because I don't want to do the exhaust. Sometimes the different cross members can change the angle of the engine slightly. I don't want to get all the exhaust right and then change the cross member and the engine angle changes slightly and messes up the exhaust. So yeah, big push on this one next week and get these two finished as well. And this one will be staying until the car comes in. I'll just put a cover over this, wrap it up, put it in the corner. Obviously this one, we're getting the gearbox, flywheel, clutch, and put back in the bay. So I'm going to wrap this video up there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. If you haven't already done so, please like, share, subscribe. Help this little channel grow. See you in the next one.